Jeff Monroe, head coach of the Liberty Softball team. The Minettes battling Jefferson Forest on Monday at Liberty High School with a date against Brookville for the winner. Coach Monroe talks about what his team has done right, balancing two-sport coaching, and much, much more. It's the head coach of the Liberty Minettes Softball team, Jeff Monroe, on the Sports Buffet podcast.
I'm used to asking Jeff Monroe questions about what's going on the basketball court. However, he is the head softball coach at Liberty High School as well. Softball district tournament getting ready to get underway this week. And, Coach, how much of a transition is it for you to head from winter to spring and not only change, indoors to outdoors, but change genders of your team as well?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I say, it's two different genders. Boys are more of, I know what to do, and girls are more, they want you to tell them what to do and stuff. And, it's just different dealing with, I think girls, in a way, take things more to heart than guys do. So I guess, that's a big part of the difference in two, sports and two different genders.
You are the playing in that 4-5 game in the tournament. You get the 4 seed and you get to host JF. I know you guys, a lot of people had thought you guys would be in 1 and 2 at the beginning of the season. How much of a surprise and is it to play in that 4-5 game to you? And how much do you have to convince your girls of, hey, we are what we are. We got to beat Forest before we worry about Brookville?
It's a disappointment because, like you say, we did have really high hopes at the beginning of the year, but, still we had a successful season. We didn't have a losing season. But, we feel like, we just got to come out and play tomorrow night. I mean, Jefferson Forest is a very good team. They got a very good pitcher in Alexis Brown and got some very good players in, like, Haley Pitchback and the Morrison girl. So, I mean, we got to work cut out. We just got to make sure we go out and take care of business. I mean, Cassidy will give us a chance to win every time we take the field. And so as long as we make some plays behind her and get a few runs, I feel good about our chances.
Yeah, let's talk about your team for a minute. When things are going right for you all, who are some of the key cogs that are getting it done for the Minettes?
When we're on top of our game, I feel like Jamie Bennett, who's our first baseman, she's a senior. She's going to Randolph College and play next year. She's also playing in the state All-Star game, so she's one of the top players in our district. And Morgan Wood, who's going to Roanoke College, she's another one of our top players on the team. She's our leadoff batter, and she's our energy girl. So those two are the bigger girls. Then, like I say, we got Samantha Baldwin, who's our catcher. Sam missed part of the year this year with torn MCL, so she missed some games beginning of the year, but has come on strong here lately. And then, like I say, we got Cassidy, who's I really do think is one of the best pitchers in the area, not only in the area, probably in the state of Virginia.
And I think when we talk about other sports maybe cannot be dominated as much as one person can in that circle for you guys. Talk about how important is it that Cassidy gets in a rhythm, gets comfortable, and, as a pitcher, you can't allow yourself to get rattled because then the ball is going to travel all over creation.
Yeah, that's the key. That's one of the main keys. If you got a decent pitcher, you can do a lot of things in softball. Unlike baseball, you got to have 2 or 3 different pitchers, to take you through there. But if you got a really good pitcher who's, very consistent and, throws strikes and, give your team a chance, you got a chance of winning some games. And, we feel like we got one of the best ones around. Like I said, the biggest thing is we just got to score some runs for.
You talk about getting some players into college on the next level and playing in the ODAC. How important is it that, your coaching style can kind of get people ready for college in addition to trying to have the best season that you can at Liberty?
We try to do, as much as possible, to try to get them ready. A lot of these girls also play travel ball, too, and that helps them out a lot, too. But, we feel like, at Liberty, we push them, really hard and try to get them to understand that, what it takes to be not only a good softball player, but also as a good person, and, we feel like, over the past few years, we've done that with some of our ladies.
And, I've talked about this next topic with a lot of other coaches, but you're probably one of the more different ones because you've got something going in the winter. But how do you think this rule of where you can almost practice as much as you want with the exception for a few weeks here a few weeks there. Has it hurt or helped you guys in the softball realm?
It really hasn't changed that much for us as a team. I've got a real good assistant coach, Ed Nichols, who does a real good job with the girls during the winter for me, in the weight room and stuff like that. And like I said, most of my top players who don't play, other sports, they're playing travel ball, and they're usually playing all the way up until, late fall and stuff. So, they're staying involved in this pretty much all year round now. We also play in the fall league in our, with the neighboring schools and stuff too, so that helps and stuff. So, and a lot of people think, it's a lot of changes, but a lot of coaches had already been doing, pretty much, going twice a week and stuff like that.
Right. You kind of just took the question away from me. Do you feel that with all the changes, were they necessary for softball?
I don't think it really was. Mm-hmm. Like I said, because softball is one of those sports where you're year round, pretty much. You're really good softball players are playing year round and stuff like that. Unlike you got football. Now football is a little bit different because you don't really have no AAU or travel team for football. So football is more. When they did this rule, is more towards them than anything else. Basketball pretty much the same. You're still getting in the gym a little more than probably usual, but still, you got some of your better players playing AAU and stuff like that, so that's helping you out that way too.
And I was going to say, with now, with you being the softball coach and not being able to devote the full time to prepping people in the off season for your basketball team, has that been delegated more to assistants, or again, you got AAU, you got enough to worry about? We'll see you in the summer or something like that.
Well, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you the story. No, when I'm done with softball on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in the gym. We don't open gym till 6:30.
Right.
And kids pretty much understand that Coach Monroe's coaching two sports and stuff. So like I say, I feel bad if I'm not in there. And I want to be there. So we moved the times back so I can be available for open gym.
Before I want to get your thoughts on the other quarterfinal matchups real quick, but before I do, how important is it to not only have a supportive family so you can do what you do, but have supportive athletes, that your softball girls understand your basketball obligations and your basketball players understand your softball obligations?
I think it's very important, because like I say, kids are kids, and they get jealous,
Right.
But I feel like over the last, since I've been the head coach in softball for the past 4 years, it has worked out pretty well. I feel like the kids know, if I'm not there, they know where I'm at, pretty much, coaching wise and stuff like that, and they'll adjust to it and stuff like that. But it's not always the same when your head coach is not in that gym or not on that field, because sometimes the kids might not play as hard or do what they're supposed to do, to get ready for whatever sport they're going into right then. So, I try to, be there as much as possible. And like I say, our kids have done a good job of adjusting and, and getting themselves ready and prepared for the season.
If you're fortunate enough to see Brookville on Wednesday, what worries you about Gary Ferguson's group?
They're just very competitive. They play hard and they don't do nothing to beat themselves. We done had two very good games against them. First game they beat us 7-6. After we're being up 5-0, they stayed steady and kept on playing hard, and they got back and got the win, and then we lost on another night 2-1. So they're like I said, they're probably the most complete team in our district. They don't have no real superstars, but they're a complete team where those girls play really well together, and we got very good chemistry. You got that, especially on softball team. You can do some really good things with them.
I want to get your thoughts on a couple of the other games real quick. EC Glass will take on Rustburg. That's the 2-7 matchup. How do you see both those teams in terms of their strengths?
Rustburg's probably the best hitting team in that district. And Glass, they're one of those teams where, they're not very good, but they got a couple of players that are, pretty decent softball players. Katie Kitts is one of the better softball players in that district. And, I think, Rustburg's going to win that game. But, like I say, you always have to be prepared, whatever happens during a game. Like I say, Rustburg, they got some, their 1 through 5 hitters are probably, some of the best hitters in that district. And we got one of the best players in our district in Nicole Riley.
And then the other matchup, it pits Heritage against Amherst. Again, the strengths of the Pioneers and strengths of the Lancers in your eyes.
Heritage is much improved. They got a new coach this year, and she has done a really good job with them, and they have really played well this year. You know, I've been really impressed with what she has done over there. You know, they still haven't showed it. They still haven't showed on the win column, but I mean, you know, just much improved team. You know, they got some players that can, you know, score a few runs and stuff like that. Like I said, we, you know, in the past have, you know, always had slaughter rule against them, but this year we didn't slaughter them neither time. So, I mean, they're much improved. And then, like I say, Amherst, who's another one of our top teams, you know, we have, our district has 4 really, really good teams, and well, maybe you could say 5 because, I mean, JF's just as good as any teams around too. But, you know, Amherst, you know, has a really good pitcher, and, you know, they got some better hitters in that district with the Childs and God, I can't think of the other girl's name. She just came back, Mallory Wood.
Mm-hmm.
She just came back from LCA, and I mean, they're 2 of the better players in that district too.
Final question for you, Coach. As always, love talking to you, whether it's about basketball, softball, just the adventures of life. Always a treat. This next question may sound a little weird, so try not to laugh in the middle of it. But, you know, you didn't get to play softball in high school that I know of because I don't think Alta Vista had the fast pitch men's team in the old Seminole district. With that being said, how hard does it make coaching softball, you know, when you didn't get to play on the level that your girls are playing at, if that makes sense?
It makes a difference. You know, when I first got into coaching softball, you know, I still had a whole lot of that baseball mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, a lot of things that we did on the field still came from my knowledge of baseball. But over the years, I've, you know, been able to, you know, go to clinics and learn more about the game and stuff like that. I'm still not a, you know, expert about the game, but I'm still learning. But, you know, I feel like, you know, softball is a game where it's fast. It's really catching on, and I think it's one of the most exciting sports, you know, and not only at the high school level, but at the college level now. You know, especially right now, you got the NCAA's going on. It's all, you know, ESPN has got them on, you know, pretty much on all their channels right there.
Right.
You know, it's a great sport, you know, and like I said, you know, and it's a lot of softball is, you know, a lot of baseball is in softball, you know, and a lot of coaches now are teaching a lot of the things that they do in baseball and softball, not just because the girls are so much stronger and so much faster than what they used to be.
What do you think's the biggest difference, though, that you couldn't bring over from baseball just because it didn't work in softball?
You know, the reaction time.
Right.
You know, from the pitcher's mound. You know, softball is 43, and I think baseball is, 60?
Right.
Pitcher's mound.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, as softball players have to have a little bit of quicker reaction time, you know, when that ball's coming in, especially when you got a real fast pitcher, you know. And I think, you know, baseball's more, you know, stepping and driving through the ball, and softball's more just quick reaction, you know, just getting that bat on the ball. So
yeah, I'll tell you, I mean what I'm about to say is no knock on Mike Thompson's squad or anything like that, but I'd rather face his best pitcher just for an at-bat because I'm sure if I face Cassidy, there might be a wet spot because I'd just be...
you know, and I think Mike might would agree with you on that one. I mean, you know, you getting in that box and you got Cassidy throwing the thing almost 60 miles per hour. I mean, that's coming at you pretty fast.
Just the wind of the softball, I think, is more intimidating to me than it is, you know, the wind from baseball.
It is. When they come around and they got that thing, like I said, you got somebody that can throw it pretty good, you know.
Well,
I got in the box against Cassidy the other day just to stand and watch, and I mean, it was coming in there pretty good.
Well, Coach, the bad news for you is I will not be standing in a hitter's box to face Cassidy, but the good news is I do wish you good luck this week, and always enjoy talking to you.
Well, thank you very much. And like I say, you know, I think it's going to be some good games over the next 3 days, 3 days of this week. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. You know, I'm hoping we can string together something and, you know, make a nice run here in the next few weeks.
Jeff Monroe on the Sports Buffet.